Postponed indefinitely. Before I give you any more details on New York City, I'd like to check in with Robert Gates right now, who is the former director of the CIA. Mr. Gates, are you with me?
I am indeed.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can.
I'm having trouble hearing Mr. Gates. Let me see if we can make a little adjustment with our audio. As we try to straighten that out, we should probably point out that city officials at this point still will not confirm how many injuries there are, how many fatalities. Secretary Rumsfeld also saying the Pentagon is not in a position to share those numbers with us as well. Mr. Gates, are you with me?
Yes, yes, I am.
Okay, good. I'm glad you can hear me, sir. In the last news conference that we just watched, Secretary Rumsfeld would not confirm if the Pentagon had any indication of an impending attack. He said he could not divulge that intelligence information tonight. Do you think the Pentagon had any sort of forewarning?
I'm in no position to know whether there was any kind of warning provided. What we often have, though, in these, with dealing with terrorist threats in the 1980s and in the 1970s is information of some kind of an impending operation, but without the kind of detail that would allow you to prepare or to defend. We ran into that with the attack on the Marine barracks in Lebanon in the early 80s and so on. So there might have been some kind of a general warning, or there may have been a specific warning, but often you get the kind of information that allows you to say something is coming, but without the kind of detail that allows people to take specific actions.
Sir, I don't know whether you would agree with this assessment, but the feeling I got in the street this afternoon that the sense of shock could quickly turn to a sense of outrage. Why weren't we better prepared, or why wasn't the United States better prepared for this kind of attack?
I think we have to bear in mind, even against the background of this catastrophe today, that the FBI and CIA have thwarted some very major terrorist operations against the United States in recent years. They've had some very important successes and saved a lot of lives. I think that there will be a time when all of this, when things have settled down, when people will be looking at what happened, what information was available, what was not available, and making some judgments about whether remedial actions need to be taken. But I think it's way too soon to begin making assumptions about some of those things.
Libyan leader Muammar Gadaffi has just called the incident horrifying, calling on Muslims to help. How do you interpret that statement?
Well, my guess is that there are an awful lot of people around the world that are pretty frightened right now about what the United States is going to do. As you said, this sense of horror is likely to turn to a sense of outrage, and I think the rest of the world, and particularly people that in the past have supported terrorists and given them a safe harbor, and helped them in some way, are probably quite worried at this point about what may be coming against them.
All right. Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there, Mr. Gates, because we need to go back to Wolf Blitzer. We're going to get back to you later on this evening. Wolf Blitzer joins us now back from the Washington.